Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my performance review of the Li Ning Wade 808 2. So this shoe is really cheap, it's only 110 bucks, and I got two colorways here. I got the Dynasty colorway and kind of like this great colorway as well. If you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave a link in the description box, but let's get it started right off with the Tracciones, right? So I got this Dynasty colorway in a little bit later than this great colorway, right? And both of these have white outsoles, solid white rubber outsoles, and they both bite amazingly, guys. So like I didn't even have to break it in, you know, right when I got it and put it on the court, it had an amazing bite, super loud and high-pitched squeak as well. And as always, yes, I know that that has nothing to do with performance, but it's just that I like to have a good squeak in my ball shoes, and I feel like a lot of you guys do as well, so that's why I'm kind of like reporting that. But yeah, it's a nice loud squeak, kind of like the Kobe 9, right? And also it's really nice on dust, right? So just a very easy and slight wipe. It picks up dust very minimally as well, so you didn't really have to wipe all too much either. But if it was super dirty or super dusty, you know, 1 to 2 easy wipes and I was good to go on a dusty setting. So very nice performance on a clean court and also really nice performance on dust. Also for durability, I mean, it seems like it's gonna be really good, right? So where the ball of your foot is, right, we have the Wave Wade logo, which this rubber, the groove here is super thick, as you guys can see, and that's a high wear area, so that's very good. The rubber overall is super hard, very deep grooves and thick grooves. So I mean, it's a Chinese company, right? Li Ning, and I mean, Chinese companies in general give us very durable outsoles for their demographic, because a lot of their the people in China, I heard, play on outdoor courts, right? So they need to make durable outsoles, and if you're gonna play on outdoor court, you're gonna be good to go here in the 808 2. So traction performance was phenomenal. It actually reminded me a lot of the GOAT traction from the Kobe 9, and there are a lot of similarities to the Kobe 9 with the 808 2, as we'll see in a little bit, right? Alright, moving on to the heel to toe transition. So doing heel dominant strides down the court felt overall pretty smooth, right? So here in the heel, we have a lot of the rubber coming up, right? So nothing as far as compression goes. So it's not like super smooth or anything here in the heel. But I guess we do have kind of like a rounded shape here. So it wasn't terrible here in the heel, but it is a little bit of a clunker, right? Reminiscent to the Kobe 9, of course. I mean, this was pretty clunky here in the heel as well. And then here in the forefoot, we have a very nice curve shape and a lot of forefoot flex. Look at that. Look at how much it flexes, right? Not a lot in the midfoot though. It was good torsional support, like my feet didn't really hurt at all. But here in the forefoot, there is a good amount of flex, reminiscent to the Kobe 9, right? A lot of forefoot flex, right? And then of course, these two plastic pieces definitely did help to stiffen up the midfoot here. So overall heel to toe transition was pretty smooth, just a little clunky here in the heel, but you know, it wasn't a huge deal, right? Very similar to the Kobe 9. So there's the heel to toe transition there. Moving on to the cushioning setup, that's one of my favorite parts about this shoe, and it has a drop-in midsole. And I love drop-in midsoles because I really like to feel step-in comfort. Step-in comfort is something that I value in my cushioning setup. And of course, cushion is subjective, so everyone has their own different preferences. But here in the 808 2, we have a drop-in midsole, and it's made out of Cloud Plus foam, right? So here it says Li Ning Cloud, and in this Dynasty colorway, it's actually this pretty cool gray color. It's not really white, right? But yeah, so how does it feel? It feels amazing, right? So there are a lot of advantages to having a drop-in midsole. So first thing is you feel the cushion right underneath your foot, right? So we have this nice cushioning setup, and you can feel the nice compression here in the heel, here in the forefoot. It's just throughout this entire footbed because there's no strobel board, right? And that's the main thing in regular ball shoes, or just any shoe in general, is that companies, they have to glue a strobel board here, and it stiffens up the actual foam so that it's a little bit hard to feel the foam underneath your foot, right? And also there's an insole and all that, but with a drop-in, your foot is right on top of the foam, which I like. Also, I guess we'll touch into support a little bit, but here, as you guys can see, the sidewall is raised, right? So this will definitely help with lateral containment, you know, keeping your foot contained into the shoe with this sidewall. Also, another thing that's great about it is that this texture, this foam texture, really grabs your foot. And you know, insoles, they're like a clothy material and can slip a little bit, right? But with this, it's gripping your sock, and it's also a little annoying to put on the shoe because it grabs your sock a little bit. But once you have the shoe on, it kind of like grabs your sock and also grabs your foot and keeps it in place. It feels really, really nice. So those are the advantages of having a drop-in. One disadvantage, however, is that the impact protection isn't the best, right? If you're doing really hard impacts, the foam is actually quite soft. So you actually bottom out the foam a little bit and you can feel your foot hit the floor. And it wasn't terrible here in the 808 too because it is thicker, and also Li Ning Cloud I feel like is better than Lunarlon. So it wasn't terrible actually, especially comparing it to the Kobe 9, right? The Kobe 9 drop-in midsole is actually feels a little bit thinner, right? Court feel is actually a little bit better here in the Kobe 9, but impact protection definitely was not good. And also Lunarlon bottoms out really quickly, right? So I definitely feel like the 808-2 drop-in midsole is better than the Kobe 9 because court feel is still amazing. Step-in comfort is amazing. You feel that foam right underneath your foot. It's very comfortable, and also it didn't bottom out that quickly, right? Lunarlon, I mean, like I said, I got this great colorway first, right? And I was playing in it, and then I got this like a little bit later, and then I brought both of these colorways to the gym just to kind of like compare how the cushion was, and it felt pretty similar, so it didn't bottom out that much. It still feels really nice, and also impact protection overall is good. Like if you're doing regular landings and stuff like that, if you're doing hard landings, then of course you'll feel it a little bit more, but of course that is a trade-off, and it definitely is worth it to me. So the cushioning setup is really nice. I definitely feel like it's an upgrade comparing it to the Kobe 9, which of course is a really good thing. All right, moving on to the material. So we have a mesh material, and I like it overall on foot. For the actual like quality, it's not bad either for 110 bucks. It doesn't feel super cheap or anything like that. It doesn't feel flimsy. It actually feels pretty nice in hand. And then here in the toe box, it's quite thin. And also we have this fuse going around the toe box for extra durability if you do toe drags. So that's definitely a good thing as well. It stays really thin here in the midfoot. And then for the tongue, it's actually pretty minimal. It's more of like a rubbery type of material for the foam or the padding. And then also it is kind of like a half booty construction tongue. The mesh that the tongue's made of kind of like goes down here into the material. And then here in the ankle area, in the back of the shoe, there is a good amount of padding, which feels nice and cozy. So overall materials feel great. It feels super minimal. It conforms to your foot very well, and it's supportive. It pretty much checks off my list of all the things that I want in a material. Of course, if you want like a really nice high quality material, not the best option, but still not that bad, right? Also, another thing that I really like about the design is this window, right? Here on the lateral and medial side of the shoe, there's a little window to the actual drop-in midsole, which is pretty cool, right? That's a nice little touch there. Moving on to the fit. So Li Ning or Wade, they sent me a half size up because that's what they recommended I do. And honestly, it fits me pretty damn well. I had no issues with it, but it was a little long, just a tiny bit long. And of course, I like to have my shoes be very snug, so I feel like I could have gone true to size and it would have been okay, but I feel like I would recommend to most of you guys to just go up half a size. Of course, like I said, if you want a really snug fit, then maybe go true to size, but just be careful on that. And then here in the toe box, it is very snug. Look at how thin it actually looks. Really snug too. Look at how thin it is, right? So yeah, here in the toe box, it's a super snug fit, and also width wise, I would actually say it's a touch wide. So it wasn't like squeezing the sides of my foot or anything. So wide footers rejoice, right? So overall, the fit was really good, and I didn't really mind the wider fit all too much because of the drop-in midsole, right? My foot was contained into the shoe very well, and because of that texture from the foam, my foot felt held in place, and also the really tight toe box helped to also secure my foot into the shoe. So the fit for me honestly was really nice. All right, moving on to the support and lockdown, I had zero issues, and I feel like even if you're a bigger dude, you're not gonna have any issues with the 808-2 either. So for lateral containment, right? So there's not a whole lot going on for lateral counters here in the forefoot. There is like this half circle. There's a little bit of a dip here, but I guess we do have this plastic piece coming up, right? But we have this fuse, and also, like I said, this material is super supportive, and also the drop-in midsole. Remember the drop-in midsole with the sidewall? So that's like an extra layer, right? So you have the drop-in midsole, and also you have the material and this plastic piece acting as a sidewall. So that's definitely gonna help for support. And then here in the midfoot, we have this piece coming up, and then here in the heel, we have an internal TPU heel counter. So lateral containment, amazing. My foot was not going out of the chute at all. And also lateral stability was very good. Look at how wide the shoe base is as well. Like, look at this. There's a nice sharp outrigger. So lateral stability was very good too. obviously this is a low shoe, right? Super low. One thing I want to touch on though is heel slippage. So heel slippage, I didn't really experience terrible heel slippage, but my foot didn't feel like 100% locked down into the shoe. My heel wasn't like sliding up and down that much though. It's just like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Harden Volume 2. If you guys remember the Harden Volume 2, where like it kind of, like it wasn't the best for heel slippage, but it wasn't terrible. That's what it kind of feels like, but the 808 2 feels a little bit better for the heel slippage. I would actually say it's better than the KD15, however, right? The KD15, I experienced a little bit more heel slippage. The 808 2, not as much, but of course, comparing the shoes that have really good lockdown in the heel, it's not as good, right? All right, moving on to the weight of the shoe. If I remember correctly, it was a little bit heavier than average. Yeah, so 13.16 ounces. Let's check the other colorway actually. 13.16 ounces. So yeah, it's around 13 ounces. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So just a tiny bit heavier than average. And it feels very responsive though, right? The traction is phenomenal. The cushion is super responsive. Court feel is amazing. My foot was locked into the shoe. And that just felt really quick when I was playing in the shoe. And when I want to do something, the shoe allowed me to do it. Like if I want to stop here, do a step back here, I had no issues with that. It felt minimal as far as the material goes as well. You know, nothing as far as like super bulky or anything. I guess I wish it wasn't. Like this definitely feels a little heavy. Like it feels a little heavy here in the heel because of the rubber, but nothing terrible. Of course, that's the one thing that the Kobe 9 has over the 808 2 is the weight. It's super light for the Kobe 9s, right? 11.11 ounces. And then the Kobe 8, however, is way lighter. 8.43 ounces. So I feel like it could have done a little bit better for weight, but it's definitely not bad. Moving on to the ventilation. Ventilation is really good. So there's pretty good airflow through this mesh material. Not amazing though, but it's thin. So overall ventilation is pretty good. And as far as the aesthetics go, I love it. This grape colorway is pretty sick, but this dynasty colorway is freaking amazing. I mean, I don't like white shoes because it gets super dirty, but this mesh material doesn't get all too dirty. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see on camera, but there are a few scuff marks, but this like fused material, it doesn't stick that well. And also, I really like this little gold touch here, right on the medial side. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yes, the 808 2 is one of my favorite shoes. It's top 2, top 3 performers right now. And it's only 110 bucks. It's on par with the PG6. That's how much I freaking like this shoe. I mean, the traction is phenomenal. I love the drop-in material. It's felt thin and minimal. Support was amazing and fit me very well. So yeah, the 808 2 I feel like will be good for most people as well. I mean, if you're looking for really good impact protection, right? If you're jumping a lot and you want that impact protection, then probably isn't the best option. But if you love the Kobe 9, you will 100% love the 808 2. And I feel like the 808 2 is a little bit of an upgrade because the cushioning is better. So yeah, that about concludes my review of the 808 2. It's Soul Brothers approved. It's super the sexy time for my feet as well. And it will 100% be in my rotation. It's gonna be my backup shoe. Like I love playing this shoe. Again, if you guys do want to cop the 808 2, I try to leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.